Investors, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Trevor, and we are here for Casual Friday. And today was a lot more casual of a Friday than last Friday, as last Friday was basically Black Friday. Today, it did look like it could be that way going into the trading session, as in the overnight market, we had a lot of bleeding, and it did continue into the pre-market. But as we could see by the heat map on screen, we did finish the day with a lot of green. So it was a nice rebound within the markets, and that is because we got another taco from the president. He said from the White House that a meeting with China's president is still likely at the end of the month. So we have had a flip-flop back and forth with the president because things all looked green. Everything looked great with trade. We've seen trade improve among so many other countries. And then all of the sudden last Friday, he came out with that Truth Social post with some pretty extreme words saying that China wasn't playing fair and that the meeting was off. Well, it looks like it is back on, at least as of now. And the markets did have that nice rebound today, and investors are feeling a little bit better because over the last 2 days, we did go into levels of extreme fear. But with the bounce back today, we are in fear. And myself, I am still very bullish for this month. I still think that October will be Uptober, but we have just had some short-term volatility because of the recent events. But when we look at the bigger picture, macroeconomics, and what the Federal Reserve is doing, they are most likely cutting at the end of this month. And this should be very stimulative for the economy and the stock market. And the next 2 weeks are going to be the biggest weeks for this month, as we have a lot of tech earnings next week and the following week. So we have Netflix, we have Tesla, IBM, Intel. The week after that, we have SoFi, PayPal, we have Microsoft, Meta, the Googles, Amazon, Apple, Coinbase, MicroStrategy. The list goes on and on. So we are in the middle of tech earnings these next 2 weeks, and I do believe that the markets will continue to be on this bullish rally because despite the chops that we have had, if you are a long-term investor on the market, here on the screen, I have the S&P, the SPY. We could see that we have been on a very strong rally since Liberation Day, right? During this whole rally, though, there has been a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt multiple times. I mean, many times the bears were calling for the markets to absolutely tank. And so anytime there is some blood, they, of course, celebrate more, but that is just in the short term. I guess if you are a trader, that is great. But if you are a long-term investor, these are the moments when you want to add to the market and add to great plays, which is exactly what I did today. So we're going to talk about some of my favorite plays, ones that I added to in today's trading session. We're going to first start out with Robinhood stock. So Robinhood stock did have a pretty bad chop today, along with the rest of the market. I mean, it was very bloody in the overnight hours and into the pre-market, but we did have this nice rebound. And so with Robinhood, I love this stock. I have talked about it so many times on this channel, and that is just because with Robinhood, with days like we have had over the course of the last days, the chop within Robinhood really not too bad. You know, I love risk assets, but some risk assets could get really beat down fast, right? I mean, we've seen some big plays get hit the last couple days. Robinhood did fall from 150 to now where we are at, which is 129, but this is absolutely okay with me because with Robinhood, this is a perfect growth stock. I heavily believe in everything that Robinhood is doing right now, and we are still in this upwards bullish trend within Hood. So as we could see, I have the upwards levels of rising support and resistance. We have this main channel, which we have sat in for most of the year. We recently got to the highest level of resistance, but again, macros looking a little bit fearful right now. So Robinhood having a bit of a sell-off, but still within this trend. And we have came down quite a bit on the relative strength index. Now, we have had a bearish cross on the MACD, but even if the price in Hood continues to fall, that is completely okay with me because I am playing this in the short term, the medium term, and the long term. I have long-term shares on Robinhood, so I am accumulating as we go, and any dips that we get in price, I see as an opportunity to add to my Robinhood. Now, in the medium term, I am buying options contracts. I want to go even longer on the options with Hood, but they are pretty expensive. So I'm buying options contracts that are set out to expire about 6 months from now. And then in the short term, what I was doing today was I did a nice day trade within ROBN. This is the double leveraged opportunity of Robinhood. And with the bleeding that we saw in the early part of the day, I did see some opportunities within the market and a lot of plays still volatile. So, when trading, it is never certain exactly what direction it will go. We try to use indicators on technical analysis to give us a more clear picture, but even looking at indicators, sometimes you could drop more. So with such a fearful day, I wanted to be in something that is reliable. So earlier I placed my day trade when it was low here, low on the relative strength index, and it did appear that we were seeing a bullish cross on the MACD, and that is exactly what happened. So we did have a nice rip up in Robin, well, in the underlying Hood. But what I love about these double leveraged opportunities, especially if you are just day trading them, is every 1% in the underlying is 2% in these double leveraged. And so with the rebound, I was able to catch about a 8% jump in ROBN. This provided a nice profit. And with this, today was a pretty bloody day, and I'm talking about adding to long-term positions. I decided at this point, after I did my day trade, I took my profits and I bought a Robinhood options contract. And again, Robinhood could bleed possibly more. I wanted to close out my trade before the end of the day in case there was anything that happened crazy in the after hours. But I bought this options contract very far out in the future. So I have a lot of time till expiration, which will help me fight a lot of the volatility. And with Robinhood in the short term, I do believe that we are going to bounce back to 150 and beyond, because with the tech earnings and everything happening, Robinhood is coming right at the tail end of it. They are going to be announcing their earnings on November 5th, so in 19 days. And as we could see, Wall Street is expecting for them to have their largest quarterly ever, which I do expect for Robinhood to hit. And in this earnings, I do expect for them to come out with some positive guidance for the future, because Robinhood has had a ton of innovation this year, a ton of customer acquisition, and this is a true growth play with amazing fundamentals. So that's what I'm saying about when there is blood within the markets, positioning yourself in something like Robinhood is always amazing, because with time, this play will definitely recover, because Robinhood, amazing fundamentals, and the future is very bright for this company. And that's why I am positioning myself in Robinhood, so I could also have a bright future right alongside Hood, just like this next company here, which I also have a lot of belief in. I believe is a very strong company over time, and that is HIMS and HERS Health, currently sitting at the price of $50. And in the short term, we have seen some pretty volatile breakneck movements within HIMS and HERS, because we did see a strong pump the other day. Just yesterday, HIMS and HERS had a crazy rip all the way to the mid 60s, 65. So it was a strong push in HIMS, and that was because of HERS. We did get the news around the menopause treatments and what they are doing there. So that is pretty huge that they are adding to their product list. And with that, investors liked to see that. But then we did get the macros and everything over the last couple days, the sell-off, and HIMS and HERS Health right back to below where the pump even started. So some choppy movements, but with HIMS and HERS Health, I still really like the company, and we are still in this strong upwards bullish trend. And I do believe that the trend will continue. Now, some of the fear that today with HIMS was also set by this, and that is that the CEO cashed out on 11 million in shares. And so anytime this happens, this does cause some fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You never like to see an insider trade out of their shares within a company. So some may be fearful, thinking that he knows something that we don't. But I would also say this: the markets in general are pretty volatile right now. This is a massive position at 11 million. And so these CEOs, these insiders, these company officials want to get paid just like us, and they are also trading within the markets. And so HIMS has been very strong recently, making some money, not too bad. I'm sure that the CEO still has a lot of shares, and he is just doing this to better his position in life, better his personal pockets, just like we are all trying to do. So I see this just as a trade. I don't think that HIMS and Hers Health is going to fall off of a cliff because of this or because of the sell-off that we have had. I do expect us to continue within this trend. The rising level of support is correlated right with the 200-day moving average, and every time in the recent term that we have tapped on that 200-day MA, we have had a bounce off of that level. So in the short term, there is the chance that we do bounce off that level again. If things are still bloody in the market on Monday, we could see another tap off that 200-day MA, but that is completely okay with me because I will purchase more options contracts set way far out in the future for HIMS and Hers Health. And so I'm very bullish on this company. This company, though, not everybody is bullish on. I am bullish on HIMS and Hers Health for the long term, for their accelerating revenue, for all the products that they have, and all the eyes that are on HIMS and Hers Health. So they have tremendous advertising, but there are a lot of shorts within HIMS and Hers Health. So a lot of pressure, 35% short interest. That is insane to see. I just can't believe so many people are shorting HIMS and Hers Health with how great the underlying company is. And so I think these shorts will get burned with time. I mean, recently, in the very recent term, just this week, we saw ourselves tap 65. So I do foresee us hitting that level once again. But of course, the markets are a patience game and things take time. So HIMS and Hers Health having a little bit of trouble in the short term, but in the long term, I have a lot of belief within this company. And with the recent blood that we have seen, this is a trading opportunity that I am looking at. HIMS and Hers Health, double leveraged, HIMZ. So again, I love these double leveraged opportunities because every 1% the underlying goes up is 2% that HIMS goes up. So right now I am just trading within HIMS. I am looking for the next rebound within HIMS and Hers Health. I would actually be okay with this tapping on the 200-day MA again. So I'd be happy if HIMS did drop back down to about, well, where would that correlate to? To about 45. I would love to see 45 in HIMS again, and that would be when I open into the double leveraged opportunity. So HIMS and Hers Health, a lot of true intrinsic value within this play, just like Robinhood and just like our next play, which I see having a lot of acceleration going forward. I am playing in AMDL, which is the double leveraged opportunity of AMD. I have some options contracts on this, and I am also trading with the shares in the short term. But when we do look at AMD also on this upwards level of rising support and resistance, so a very positive trend building, and we are tapping right above this resistance, which was set last year in March. And so we have seen the most bullish movements in AMD that we have seen all year long. It has been on this upwards bullish trend, but recently with this big OpenAI agreement, they got a big push from that. And with AMD, I actually have some leaps on this play. So I have some options contracts that are set to expire in March, but then I have more options that are set to expire in 2027. And that is because I believe that we could see a historic run within this play. And I believe that the momentum is only getting started, because when we look at NVIDIA, the number one chip maker, I mean, what they have done the last years in terms of their price has been euphoric, and AMD is catching up to NVIDIA. They are still a long ways away. So at just a market cap of $378 billion, NVIDIA all the way in the $4 trillion range. But this recent acquisition with OpenAI said a lot, because with these chips, there is so much value, so many data centers being built, and it just showed that NVIDIA can't provide all the chips. And so AMD, a number two, but a strong number two. And with sectors, when you see a sector be bullish, like one play within a sector, it tends to rise the whole sector together. So if you are in NVIDIA or AMD, these plays should run together. And just like I was talking about Robinhood, I want to position myself with a winner so I could win and have a bright future. Well, I see that with AMD, and their next quarterly earnings expected to be their largest ever. This is going to be in 18 days. So right on the same days as Robinhood. Robinhood was November 5th. This is going to be November 4th. So I am very excited for this. This is going to be after the tech earnings that we are seeing over the next 2 weeks, and then also the interest rate cut that we should likely be getting, which is going to be super bullish for the markets. And so again, with AMD, I am playing this very long. I have a lot of options contracts on this, and some that are set to expire all the way in 2027. In the short term, we could always see this gap get filled, as we did see that OpenAI deal did push it very high. So if it does get filled, that is still okay with me, because again, strong fundamentals within this company, and the future with AMD is very bright. So in the short term, we are seeing some volatility within the markets, but it is just short term, in my opinion. These are great opportunities with blood in the markets. These days present a lot of rebounds, and with that is where I am taking the opportunity to trade. And that is why it is always important to have some cash on the sidelines to always take advantage of these opportunities. So as always, guys, this is never financial advice, always financial entertainment. And I talk a lot about the double leveraged opportunities, but I will always say the same thing. Even though I talk about leverage and the tremendous aspects of leverage, never over leverage yourself. So that's why I like leverage, because you don't have to put in as much to see the greater gains. Like if you are in the underlying, if you get into double leverage, every 2% is what every 1% in the underlying is 2% in the double leverage. So you could essentially, if you have a $1,000 position in AMD, you could put 500 in AMDL and basically have the exact same movements. Now, with these double leveraged opportunities, they do reset daily, and there is also a small fee because they are technically ETFs, but it is so minimal to the greater gains that you could see. So these are basically 2-to-1, but if you compare them side to side, sometimes they won't exactly correlate, but still pretty close. So just about a month ago, I was talking here how I want to manifest doing some live day trading. So getting on this YouTube live stream and doing some day trading. And so over the last month, I have been honing on my skills of day trading, and I gotta say, it has actually been decently successful. So very happy with my progress. I am still honing in on my skills, but in the near future, I do plan on doing some live streaming. If you guys would like to see that, please let me know in the comments section below. So please drop a comment saying that you would like to see that, or just drop a comment about anything. I always get a lot of insight from you guys, and I love the community that we have here on this Green Money Momentum channel. And I thank you all so much for your support. As always, I was gone the last couple of days because there was a crazy storm out here in Tempe, Arizona. We had some crazy rains and crazy winds that were all the way up to 70 miles per hour. It literally ripped trees out of the ground. And so with that, my internet was down, and I was just pretty busy in life. So I took a little bit of a break, but I did get some nice supportive comments from some of you. So thank you all so much to everybody who checked up on me. And thank you all so much for always being here. Your support means so much to me and this channel. And there has been some exciting things the last couple days too. I got this right here, which is look at this. This is beautiful. The Robinhood Gold card. So I'm always talking about Robinhood, how much I love Robinhood. And just look at this beautiful product right here. So I got this in the mail. Look at this. Oh my gosh, the Robinhood Gold credit card. A lot of benefits with this, and we have talked about how Robinhood is constantly expanding as a product. This is just part of their expansion, what they're doing with these Robinhood Gold cards. So I can't wait to use this. In general, I am very excited about everything right now. I'm very excited about Q4 in the markets. I am excited about the weather getting nicer. I'm excited about this Robinhood Gold card and all the opportunities that we have right in front of us. So thank you guys all so much for being here. Please drop that comment. Please leave a like and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. And I will see you guys in the next video.